Welcome to the Just Hard podcast, where real nurses have real conversations about the tough stuff. Because in nursing, hard isn't the enemy, it's the making of you.
We're your hosts, Chelsea Justice
And Lisa Harding.
Two nursing faculty who believe in teaching with honesty, heart, and a whole lot of practical wisdom. We know nursing school isn't just challenging, it's transformative, and we're here to help make that transformation clearer, more doable, and yes, even a little fun.
Every episode, we'll break down the hardest concepts in nursing, show how they actually show up in practice, and give you the tools to think like the nurse you're becoming. We'll share real-world stories, the lessons we learned the hard way, and the moments that pushed us and our students to grow.
So settle in, breathe deep, and remember,
It's just hard.
and we can do hard things.
Let's get started.
Let's get started. So this is our fourth episode, but we are calling it episode 0.
Yes.
Meet your host. So today we're just going to kind of talk to each other and share some things about ourselves with you. So now that you know what this podcast is about, you know, this is a special episode for us for today.
Yeah, before we start dropping sepsis bombs and clinical wisdom, we want you to know us, who we are, how we got here, and why we care so much about the students we teach.
Basically, we're interviewing each other. We could go, you know, it could go either way, beautifully, terribly, but it'll be entertaining.
Yes, and we can do hard things.
We can.
Yeah. All right, Chelsea, I'm going to start. Okay, so this is like the how we met section. So let's start at the beginning. Do you remember when we first met?
I do. I remember it was during the COVID pandemic, and you came up to save us in the ICU away from your normal IR, ER stuff that you do, and you came to the ICU, and you had ICU 1, bed 6, and you were fighting, I think, with the computer.
Probably.
Yeah, and
Probably.
I was shift manager that day, and yeah, we just got along great. We're like, well, we'll figure it out, and we made it happen, and we took care of the patient, and you came and helped us on the ICU, and you said you could help us, you know, if we needed your availability, and I gave you my number, and you still have me saved in your phone as ICU scheduler?
Yes. Actually, I did change you recently to my new partner, so yes.
Yep, I
did
no
change
longer have that role. That's a tough job doing the schedule, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
yeah.
but
I'm
you
fine with
probably
giving
get
that up.
good bribes?
No.
No. Oh, see?
No, you're actually kind of public enemy number one.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah, and then, so we worked COVID together, and, so I definitely, you know, enjoyed working with you, and you gave me my flu shot, or not my flu shot, my COVID shot when it was vaccine time. I was like, oh, there's my friend Lisa. You gave me my vaccine. And then actually after the pandemic, I was just so burnt out. Like, I love ICU. It's my heart. It's my passion. I thrive there. I love it so much. But it was just too much death and dying, and I wanted to be in a place where people were excited about living and goals and excited about getting back into the nursing profession because I was starting to see that I was facing burnout. So I reached out to you to see if maybe teaching at BC would be a good idea.
I remember that specifically.
Mm-hmm.
I remember having those conversations, and I just remember thinking, oh man, this would be so amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea that a few years later we'd be colleagues working really side by side. And
in the same semester.
Yeah,
How lucky is that? Because
so
they were
blessed.
going to start me in one class and then a different class, and then finally they're like, we need you to do third with Lisa Harding. Perfect.
I'm like, I feel like I won the thumb war, you know?
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
So what drew you into teaching, Lisa?
Yeah, so my story is very interesting. I was ER all the way, and then I became the ER educator, and I was very frustrated with the way that I saw education going, because what would happen is someone would make an error, or something would happen, or we would identify a need, and based on a problem, we would have this like department-wide education. I'm like, there has to be a better way. Mm-hmm. We have to be able to anticipate like what's going to go wrong before something bad happens. And so I went back to school to get my master's in nursing education, and it was through that I'd even learned about this college gig that you could teach faculty nursing and all that. Had never actually been to a community college campus until I had an interview here.
Interesting. And that makes so much sense too, because I was finding like that in, and I was at a very, very low level, like management, very low level, but it was hard in trying to have difficult conversations and correct things. I was wanting to go more of an educational route as well, instead of let's work on this after the problem's already occurred. So that was actually one of the reasons that I kind of thought about going into teaching. Because I did my master's with an emphasis on leadership and management.
Oh, nice.
Not in education. So it's definitely been a vertical learning curve for me, but I really find that I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, I think as a nurse educator, I really feel like it's a calling, and I know that sounds so Pollyanna, and I do not like Pollyanna, but I think it does sound so like rainbows and butterflies, but I don't think that just anyone could be an educator. I think you have to work at it. I think just like any skill, but you have to have specific abilities to be able to check yourself and say, you know what, I don't know the answer to that question. And there's some strength in that when you feel your weakest.
Absolutely. And it's been, it's hard going from expert nurse at the bedside, and it's essentially kind of starting over because teaching is just completely different. So going all those stages, I always tell students like the Brenner, is it Brenner or
Benner.
Benner.
Benner, you added an R.
Yep. Those stages that you go through, like through novice to expert, like you will go through those stages in your career.
Oh, that is a huge kick in the nuts when you go from, not that we have nuts, but it goes from you're like an expert nurse. And
Right.
and I don't mean that bragging. I worked with you, Chelsea. I know you are an expert in the ICU. And then the very next day you walk into the doors of academia and you don't know what in the world is going on.
Yeah, they're like your COR, your
Yeah.
LMS.
Oh.
I'm like, what's Canvas?
Yeah.
Like
Academia has more acronyms than like healthcare. I swear.
Yeah.
And if you put the two together, academia and healthcare, it's acronym city. It's
but
crazy.
it's one of the coolest things about being a nurse is that there's so many different things that you can do. You can work in one area. You want to try something else. There's
Yeah.
so many different things
Yeah.
that you can do.
Yeah. So true. So true.
Yep. So what actually set you onto the path to be a nurse?
Oh my goodness. Okay, so my story is kind of crazy. So I worked at a church camp slinging food service. So I worked in
Oh.
the food service department at a camp all summer. And I started because I needed in-state tuition to where I was going to college. And so I'm like, okay, I need a place to live over the summer that could provide room and board. And so I think I made like $20 a day salary. And we worked like 19 hours a day, which gives you 5 hours to sleep, basically. So anyway, we had ended a camp and we had a day off before the next campers were coming in, and some friends from the area came and we went into town to get some snacks. And we were in this rural area, and we went to a gas station, which was the only major restaurant and a grocery store, the gas station. And so it was like, I don't know, 11, 12 at night. And we went and got snacks, I don't know, like Cheetos or something like that. And so we were driving home and the car in front of us was weaving all over the place. And he lost control of the car and flipped it. And so we saw him sprawl out of the car and splat in the middle of the road.
Oh.
And I remember walking up on that, and it was not a good scene at all, and feeling so helpless.
Uh-huh.
And I remember someone was like, we need to feel for a pulse. And so this guy that had pulled up also said, feel for a pulse. And I'm like, you do it. And he wasn't going to do it. And so I'm like feeling it. And I literally didn't know what I was doing, but I felt the thump, thump, thump go away. And so when the patient died. And it was literally the most helpless feeling I'd ever had. And so I wanted to not have that happen anymore. And so then I took a basic first aid class at the college I was going to, the university. Then I became an EMT. Then I became a paramedic. I loved doing that. But I felt like I was reading a book and never finishing the last chapter. And so I never knew what happened. And so then I wanted to go into nursing so that I could know more about what was
Absolutely.
happening. So
Yeah.
that was really my route into nursing. It's not a traditional one at all, but that's how I got here.
Yeah, a lot of us don't have those traditional stories. That's why I think sometimes it is a calling and a direction that you're led into. For me, I wanted to be a hairdresser.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Service oriented.
Hairdresser or a flight attendant.
Okay.
Yeah, but I was in high school and I signed up on a list for like a nursing program type thing. It was called HOSA, Health Occupation Students of America. Okay. And it was when I was in high school in Florida, and I signed up for that. And I actually, I wrote my name on a sticky note. It was actually a very, very coveted class to be in, with a waiting list, applications, everything.
Oh, wow.
For whatever reason, that teacher just picked, because I talked to her one time in person, she picked me, she put me in the class, and I actually wanted to transfer out of it to do the hairdressing program. I was like, no, I got put in this class by mistake. And she's like, I would encourage you to stay in it. You might like it. And
Look at you
turns out I
now.
liked it. I really had no idea what nurses did until I
Same.
went to school and until I became one. How much responsibility we have, how much I had no idea. I had no idea how truly sick people could be in the hospital too.
Right. I think one of the things too is I never knew how much we had to know as nurses. I
So
literally
much.
believed the stereotype, and that's one of the reasons I didn't want to become a nurse at first, is because I'm never going to be the pinup model. That's not me. I'm never going to be like the doctor's handmaiden.
Right.
That's never going to
No.
be me. I will tell you off, and I'll tell you exactly what I
What
think.
makes a good nurse?
Yeah, I'll be kind about it.
Right.
At first. But that's never going to be me. But I never really knew how smart you had to be. And it kind of really kind of adds to the title of the podcast, The Just Hard. Now, granted, that's a play on our name.
Right.
But it really is. Nursing is hard.
Mm-hmm.
We have to know so much.
Yeah,
I never knew that.
emotionally, physically, on your feet all day, everything. Yeah, it really is. Did you know that you would want to go straight into ER?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because of my experience. Yeah.
Mhm.
That I never wanted anything else. I actually was when I remember taking boards. I was at the church. My first job as a nurse, once I got a job after I graduated, my first job was at that church camp. And because I was a paramedic, I was working under my paramedic license. And I remember having to find a nurse to come and cover for me so I could go and take boards. And it didn't go well. It was right when we were the very first group to ever take it on computers. So there wasn't a lot of training with it at all. And so I took it on a computer, and I know I missed the last question. My last question, and this is 30 plus years ago. So my last question was, you have a patient, like I think it was a Vietnam vet, something, and he had PTSD. Where do you put him? And I'm like, oh, right at the front of the nurse's station so you can keep an eye on him. Or no, like right in the back.
Oh,
That's what I
okay.
was going to do. I was going to put him in the back so he could be calm, quiet, and relaxed.
Okay.
But he's like a suicide risk. And we're working in a mental health ward.
Okay.
And you're supposed to put him where you can keep eyes on him. And I wanted to put him in the back or wherever it was.
Psych
Mental health
nursing
is not
was
my thing.
so hard for me.
Yeah.
I barely got through that
It's
class.
not my thing
Yeah.
either. Maybe because I relate too much. I'm not sure. But so I put him in the wrong place. I know I missed that question because I went back and looked it up. I know I missed it. So I'm like, I failed. I missed my last question. Then it shuts off.
Right.
And you're like, OMG, I didn't have very many questions. It just shut off. I know I missed that last one. I know I did. And so I was like planning to be a long haul truck driver, just me in the big open road. Like I had no anticipation of passing at all. And I had to wait like 2 weeks to get my results.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's kind of crazy.
Yep.
Yeah. Didn't at all. Yeah. Yeah. So how about you?
I always knew I wanted ICU. So for me, it was when my dad got sick with liver failure. And when he was in the hospital, and he had been in and out for the last couple months of his life on the various units of the hospital. And I just remember like watching the nurses, because I knew that I was one day, like actually he died 1 month before I started nursing school.
Wow.
But he was still alive when I got my letter of acceptance.
Mm.
But I just remember like going in the hospital with him. And so of course, like I knew I was going to nursing school. I hadn't gone yet, so I didn't know anything. So I was watching everything that they did. And I just remember the level of caliber of those ICU nurses was just so high. They were so professional. They were so on it. They were just amazing. And I was like, that's the nurse that I want to be.
Yep. Yeah.
So I always knew I wanted ICU.
Yeah. I love that too. And I can think back sometimes in things, interactions maybe that I've had or things that I've said or done. And I'm like, yeah, you're not the nurse you're meant to be today. Or in that interaction, you could have done better. And humbling.
But we're still human.
Yep. Absolutely. Very humbling. But I'm so thankful for those because those really refined me. And I share stories, with my students in
Yep.
class about the moments that I totally tanked. And I really do that. I have a specific story that I'm not going to share on the podcast, but I share with my class, and it's so humbling, and I really want to be released from that.
Right.
It was that
I know
time.
which one you're
yes,
talking about.
I did
Yep.
not
Mhm.
behave the way I wanted to, and I don't want to share it, but I have to, because I want my students to be better.
Yeah.
That's really my goal in this. I want them to be better than I am every day.
It's so hard because I feel like the most valuable lessons are from mistakes that we make.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
it sucks going through that painful process.
Growing up is hard.
It
It-
is.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I love it though. Yeah. Yeah. So how has becoming a teacher changed you as a nurse?
As a nurse, it's actually made me a better educator at the bedside. Because nurses do a lot of education, and now that I'm learning how to teach, which I still feel like I'm still learning, but it's changed the way that I educate my patients about what's going on with them and their family members. I've always been pretty good about having those difficult, realistic conversations with them, but like as far as educating them, which, I mean, we don't really discharge patients from the ICU. It's celestial or they go to the floor.
Right.
But if I float to the floor and I'm like discharging a patient with their education, like I teach that a little bit differently, a little bit more time, a little bit more ways of checking the patient's actual understanding. I think that's one of the challenging things in the hospital too, is they're so busy and they want those patients to be discharged as quickly as possible, but taking the time to do the discharge correctly, it takes
Right.
time. So it puts us in a hard position sometimes.
Yeah, and
With
especially-
nursing, we're torn in a lot of directions.
Yeah. And especially if our colleagues forget that discharge planning starts the moment they're admitted.
Yeah.
We got to start talking about the discharge plan because we got to say it over and over and
Mhm.
over and over again.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So true. Yeah. So if you could give, just kind of throwing this out here to you, but if you could give your students any advice about the level of nursing that you're working in, as an educator, how to be the most successful, what would you tell them?
To be the most successful as a student?
Yeah. Yeah. What would you tell them?
Hmm. That's a tough question because we all learn so differently. I would say figure out what that learning style is. And I know, like, for me, it was practice questions. And I would like to read stuff from a lot of different sources. So I would read, some stuff from our book, but I also read a lot of online, like, journals, like the nursing journals, the nursing articles, to hear it from a different perspective. So take whatever resources you have. If you're audio, the podcast, right? Like, listen to it while you're driving. Or, the lecture, like if you listen to the lecture while you're driving. So for me, like, it was kind of just figuring out my own learning style and what worked for me and doing those practice questions.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about you? You've been doing this for
Yeah, I mean,
long time.
I think some of the things I love the practice questions. Our students definitely need that too. But one of the things that, and maybe it's because we are transitioning out of one semester and going into another one, is I would definitely say don't believe the rumors. You don't want us to believe rumors about you. So don't believe rumors about us. Make your own opinions. And
As with anything, right? Make
Yeah.
your own opinions.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, I mean, I think I have this dear mentor that I just love her to death. But one of the things that she told me is that we as people tend to believe the person that gets to us first. So if the first person that tells you about what it's like to be a nurse loves being a nurse and they're excited and they just have this passion, then your view of nursing is like it's amazing. And if the first nurse you ever meet is like Nurse Ratchet, who hates her job, hates life, hates
Yep.
every human with breath, then you're going to think nurses are all like that. And so I think I can do that with people that I meet, and I think students can do that with instructors.
Yeah. And, same thing, we can do that with our patients, right? So
Absolutely.
like when we're giving handoff, you don't want to be like, oh my God, they're so awful. Like, and if you are the one that's receiving that, like have that open mind and go in there with that patient and formulate your own opinion for that
Right.
patient. Like you really have to try not to let those other things.
Exactly.
And I would say too, like just, again, like you're here for a reason, you belong here. There's a reason for it. So
Yeah.
just keep
Yeah.
moving forward.
And how about knowing too, like, we're not asking you to do stuff because we think it's fun to grade 60 of those stuffs.
No,
Yeah.
it's not fun at
Yeah,
all.
it's a systematic
I had a
plan.
really good work-life balance before I started teaching.
Yeah, we don't have that anymore.
Not during the semester.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why
Yeah.
we live for vacations.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how much teachers actually needed that vacation. And granted, I still pick up and work at the hospital a bunch, but
That's a recharge for me.
it is.
Yeah.
It's different. It's like your brain needs a break too.
Yep. That
Mhm.
refills my batteries. When I
Yep.
get to go work at the bedside, I'm like the
I
happiest.
love working
Me
at
too.
my hospital job.
Me too.
I do. I love it.
the
Yeah.
best.
It's like, even though I said like I got burnout and stuff, and that's why it's a good balance. Like you have to have that work-life balance. So for me, I work at the hospital 2 days a month now during the semester, but then on the breaks I pick up extra.
Yeah. Yeah. Plus,
Yeah.
it's nice to have that little
And keep
extra
you
travel
current.
money.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. It's super fun. I love it too. Yeah. Yeah. All right. You want to do some rapid fire questions?
All right.
All right. So I'm going to throw out a comment and you answer as quick as you can.
Okay.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Same. Best clinical snack?
Oh, that's a tough one.
Are you a salty or savory?
A banana. Something that you can eat quick when you're busy. There's always time to drink and there's always time to pee and there's always time to eat a banana.
And maybe
Don't be
all
that
at the
nurse.
three same time.
Yeah, whatever you got to do to get through your shift. Like, don't get a bladder infection. Like, it only takes, a couple minutes to, kind of recharge. You might not get a full 15-minute break. You might not get a real break at all that day, but you got to take time to eat, drink, and pee.
Yes, there you go. Night shift or day shift?
Day shift.
Oh. See, I would do night shift if I wasn't married.
I like the night shift vibes, but for me, I felt like, I do feel like you get, I do like rounding with the doctors in the daytime, like the chaos, you got
Yeah.
the meals, you got the showers, but I like getting my patients out of bed.
Yeah.
I like rounding with the doctors, and I feel like I learn a lot there. But for me, like the main thing on night shift was I felt like I was losing a day of my life every week. And I can sleep
100%.
too much. So for me, I could work all night, go home, sleep all day. And if I didn't work that next night, I would just eat dinner and go to bed and like sleep all night again.
Yeah.
So I could like I could sleep way too much.
Yeah,
So.
I was consumed with sleep. Like if it was my
Yes.
first night shift back after a few days
Yeah.
off, I was trying constantly like, what time am I going to get my nap? Am I going to get to sleep? I'm going to be so grumpy, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
would just be consumed with. And then your first day off, you're thinking you can't sleep too long
Right.
because and
Thank
you.
God there are people that actually like night shift.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes, that's
Yeah.
very, very true.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. How about you? Let's see. Teaching style in 3 words.
Teaching style in 3 words. I love to be a cheerleader. I love to encourage my students. So I would be. I'm to the point. I'm very sarcastic, and I'm a cheerleader. Those would be my
Alright.
3 words.
And what's a hobby that students would never guess you have?
Oh, I'm an avid reader. I
Oh,
love.
I didn't
to
know that.
Read.
I love to read also.
I love to read. I don't read any medical things.
Nope.
What do you like to read?
Right now, I've been on a Kristen Hanna kick.
I don't know who that is.
She's really good. She writes about strong women and like roles of like I just read The Women,
Okay.
and it's about a female who went and worked as in the in the Vietnam War.
Oh wow.
And she was a veteran, and she came back, and she worked in a healthcare area.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was very, very good.
I love
yeah,
that. I
yeah.
love to read. I love to read like, I don't know, like legal mysteries, things like that.
Oh.
I'm reading the cutest little series right now about this old man that has a dog, and he is a retired detective, and his dog got fired as a canine, and the
Oh.
author voices for the dog. It's fabulous, and it's
Yeah.
completely mindless, and it just helps me shut my brain down and relax.
Yes.
Yeah. Favorite
Yeah.
thing to do would be sitting outside in a cold. It's as we're recording this right now, it's winter. It's about 48 degrees, which is super unusual for our town.
Yeah.
But my favorite thing to do is when it's cold outside, sit outside with my propane fire with a glass of wine
Yes.
and my Kindle
Yes.
with music in the background.
100%.
Hit me there. We got to
Yep,
do that. Yep.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah. So that's a good one.
So the podcast has been fun. What a great idea you had. I'm so glad that you thought about doing a podcast. And then we found this studio here at BC for our,
We're loving it. This is
Yeah.
so great. Yeah, I love it. Yeah. So what you can expect from the podcast, like how about one of the things you can expect from the podcast are bite-sized breakdowns of the hardest nursing concepts.
Yeah. And, hopefully it triggers your mind to be like, okay, I maybe don't know what that means. So you can look it up. So it's not, going to be able to take the place of lecture. And our hope ultimately is to get more active learning into the classroom at some point too. We're working on changing all of that here at our college and going more concept based, but it takes time to get there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So the podcast is a fun way to kind of
Yeah.
work that in a little bit.
Yeah, and it's fun for us to get to work together because we're in the classroom. You have your group, I have my group,
Yep.
but we're talking about the same thing.
Yep. So yeah, we'll try to provide clear, practical explanations that you can actually use, and how these classroom concepts actually show up in real practice.
Yeah. Me being the cheerleader, I'm going to throw in a pep talk or a mindset shift or share with you, unfortunately, my hard-earned lessons,
Yep.
which there are many. So don't
Yep.
let my
Oh, yeah.
beautiful looks fool you.
We have many, right? Stories that normalize struggle and highlight growth, and some humor, honesty, and humanity. That's
can
what we hope to bring.
Definitely count on the humor, honesty, and humanity from us. The two of us.
Definitely.
Yeah, we got that
Yep.
locked down. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was just like a little quick get to know us. We'll probably have more of these episodes, and we definitely want to have some episodes where we've already got a few guest speakers ready as we get better at learning how to be podcasters.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks for hanging out with us and getting to know the voices.
Yeah, so whether you're a student or you just wandered in or you're a nurse, and if you are a nurse, we would love to get your feedback. You can shoot us an email or you can ask us for a topic. We'd love to just wander through that and talk
Yeah,
about that. So you
absolutely.
can definitely email
Yeah.
us. But if you're out there, you're a student, you just wandered in, welcome to our community.
Yep, and remember,
It's just hard and we can do hard things.
thanks for listening.